Well, good morning everybody. Today is Monday the 29th of February and today I'm working another morning shift. The difference being is this is not one of those regular early morning shifts where I start at 5:30. This is a little special shift. I'm going to be getting at least 2 of these this week, both today on Monday and on Friday. And what happens is I start at 8 o'clock instead. So that's a really good thing. 8 o'clock, that's really nice, you know. Maybe in other lines of work it's not that big a deal, but in trucking, 8 o'clock, that's a luxury. You could ask any trucker, you know. So anyway, as for today, all I'm going to be driving today is Högsbo all day. I'm going to drive Högsbo until, let's make sure everything's on here. Put on my camera, just a second, mode, and there you go. So anyway, I was gonna say, today is just Högsbo. So Högsbo loads until 5:30, and I get off, at least I'm scheduled until 6 o'clock p.m. So I'm just gonna see if I can get around here, make a U-turn. Nah, I'm gonna skip the U-turn. I'm just gonna do this. I probably could have done the U-turn, but I was like, fuck it. But anyway, so what I was saying was, as I was saying, no, it's only till 5:30. I'm gonna be driving there and getting loaded and. Oh, here's a bit of a problem. These guys from the railway is in a way. I'm just gonna pause the video a little. Anyway, now I just went inside the workshop and got that guy to move. It's one of the not railway. It's one of these trams that go around the city. It was Göteborgs Spårvägar. They're one of their trucks. So yeah, the mechanic moved it anyway. So anyway, back to what I was saying. Is yeah, they loaded Högsbo until 5:30 today, and I'm scheduled till 6 o'clock. So I'm just going to keep going to Högsbo again and get a load and dump it in that heating plant pretty much the whole day. Maybe I'll get some load that goes somewhere else, but I don't think I'm going to do that today. So that's basically how it's going to work. It's going between those 2 stations. So it's a good shift. Good thing is too. Also, I got this truck. This truck is the number 321. This truck is my favorite truck out of our old trucks, because this truck has got lower mileage and all that. It's not as worn. You know, transmission still feels pretty good on this thing, even if it's a Opti Cruise. It still feels pretty good, and yeah. It's a nice truck. One thing I can say about this truck is all the hydraulics on this truck. When you put on the hydraulics to work the hook and all that, it's a little noisy. I don't know why it's like that. It's been like that since I got here. I don't know, but other than that, it's nice. So actually, last week I got some footage on Thursday, but I don't know if there was something wrong with the camera or if I did something wrong, but when I looked at in the camera, it was like almost none of the footage was left. I don't know what had happened. Maybe I pressed the wrong button when I was recording, or maybe something was wrong with the camera. But anyway, I'm trying the camera out today again. Hopefully it'll record properly. So, and as for now, I'm going to be heading to that heating plant, 7S. I got a load on today. It's just regular garbage on. So I'm gonna go over there. I'm gonna go dump this load. And no, excuse me. I'm gonna go dump this load, and then I'm gonna go to Högsbo and get the first load today. Which I'm gonna get the first load I'm gonna get myself. So I'm gonna shut off the video now, and then I'll put the video back on when I get to the heating plant. I can show you guys how the glider works and all that when I get over there. Show you a little bit how it works. You see it in action. Okay then, now I'm at the heating plant 7S. So here I can show you guys a little how it works with one of these more modern trailers, where I gotta set the suspension myself, lower it down. So first thing I do, I make sure that this dolly is fairly straight. Yeah, it's straight enough, because if it's not straight enough, then you're gonna hit the airbags into this. Like if it's a little pointed that way too much or the other way, it's just you're gonna hit the airbags into it when you back towards it. So what I do is I do take out this safety pin, that, and lower the suspension. Now while you're waiting for the suspension to lower, because it takes a couple seconds, there's my colleague coming in. He's driving that truck I drove last week. And you do this, that you can do that while, so you got all the safety pins out. Then you do this shit. See, now it's just about done. And sometimes, yeah, with channel. There you go. Yeah. Hallå.
Du fick vi lapp eller?
Ja då. Jag tror den kanske läcker den här bilen, för det var väldigt lite glykol på den idag.
Men han blev påkörd.
Ja.
Så, för jag såg det, men det var ingenting när jag körde.
Nej.
Så jag därför gjorde jag ingenting med sista då.
Det var någon slags fläck under den, men den var lite för långt bak för vad kylan är. Och jag vet inte om det är olja eller vad det är. Jag får ha lite koll på den idag. Anyway, so there you go here. Yeah, something's up with these today. Oh, there you go. So then I can disconnect this. Go here. Do all that. Done. See, you got 1, 2, 3 there. You got unlock the lock, and the suspension's done. Now all you gotta do is open the coupling. Now the reason I adjust the suspension first before I do that is because if you unlock any one of those or disconnect the airline, the spring brake will hit. It'll go in. And then when you adjust the suspension, no wear and tear on the brake for nothing. So that's why you adjust the suspension first and then you start unlocking it. That way you don't wear and tear on the suspension unnecessarily. So anyway, we're done here. Time to go dump this motherfucker. Pull forward a little bit, start tipping it at the same time. Right there. I need a second, and I'll maybe pull forward a little bit more. Yeah, right there. So there you go. Time to pull on the next container. See, those containers are marked with truck's number 321. It's good, so that way you don't mix them up with some other containers, somebody else's containers. So there's some M1. This thing is equipped like pretty much the exact same as that truck I was driving Thursday and Friday. So this truck has got one of those split screen cameras, so that's good. That way I can see both the rearward camera and the angle camera at the same time. So that's a good thing. That's looking just about right. I don't know if you guys could hear that, but like I was saying, the hydraulics is really noisy on this thing. Maybe you could hear it on video. And there you can see the glider work. I hope you guys can see it now that I've got the window open. Once it gets about there, I just put it in drive, and then I pull the glider forward, like so. See, now I do the rest of it. Yeah, and then I just pull it forward. Right there. Hear that sound? Then you know it's all the way forward, even if you don't see it. Lock it up, shut off the hydraulics, put in drive, and it's time to go. And also reset the suspension. Well, it's number 10 again. That's how you know these people that operate the ports don't drive a truck. They keep giving me number 10. Now, of course, I've figured out what to do on number 10, but number 10 is not the best port for an air ride truck because, like I said, if you don't watch out, you get the airbags. So. The advantage of number 10 is though you can tip the container up a bit higher than you can on other ones. Which is good if you have a container that's really packed. There you go. All right. Damn, those hydraulics are noisy. Still haven't figured out why it's so noisy on this truck. Nobody's done anything about it, so well, as long as it works properly. This one dumped nicely too. Although I think this is a little due to the fact that it was port 10. I think on port 8 or 9 or one of these other ones. Well, not 8, but like 9 or 11 or one of those. I think the red light would have gone on and I probably would have to back up and hit the brakes. Because that was pretty high. So. There you go. And reset the suspension. That's good. 12 minutes later and 2 containers empty. That's making pretty good time. I want to go forward a little bit. Use more of that ram. Yeah, there you go. See? Right there. Now you guys can see that thing going back. Even out nice and flat. So you just back up, shove it all the way back. There you go. And then just shut off the hydraulics. So anyway, I'm going to be filming some more later when I get loaded. Right now I'm just going to finish up this load. Alright then. I'm at Högsbo now, and today I'm going to be getting a special load. What I'm going to be hauling today is junk, like metal and that kind of stuff. So, see these containers over here? Those two blue ones and the red one. Those are loaded with junk. So, changed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by pulling off my containers, and then I'm going to load those. It looks like they're loaded pretty good, because sometimes if things are sticking up, you can't really like some metal piece, something sticks up, then you can't really close them. But it's looking good. One thing today too is I have one of our own containers today. I only had that one time before, but then it was one of the smaller ones. So this is the first time I had like a big one that's one of our own. I don't know why they're doing that today, but that's just good, because unlike those two, which you got to use a manual crank, on this one you can just use the drill. So anyway, there you go. It's looking pretty nice, straight. Pull off these containers. So these containers, they're loaded with the junk. I gotta go and dump them in a place called Skrotfrag. In English it'll be like Skrotfrag, like junk frag. Well, anyway, I gotta go dump them over there. That place is in Agnesberg, but it's like by Angered. It's another other side of town, so it's gonna take a little while. The thing with this load is it's probably it is the shittiest load they got here. It's the kind of load nobody wants. It's not that it's too complicated or anything, but it's just there's a lot of extra hassle. You know, you gotta switch the containers, and then you gotta weigh it in here, and then weigh it in over there, and then weigh it out over there, and then we come back and you gotta weigh it out here too, and go up and leave the paperwork. And the thing is, with that place over there, when you dump at that place, the thing is with this kind of a junk, they packed it in really nice. They've packed it in properly. So the thing with that is you got to open the roofs a little, otherwise the shit gets stuck when you start dumping it. So it's extra hassle. Takes a little longer. If you get this load, you're gonna get one less load for the day. Like I was thinking about dumping 5 loads today, but it's probably gonna be 4 loads now with that, because it takes extra time. För videoblogg på kamera. Vad heter det? Lastbilsblogg. Så jag filmar hur man kör lastbil och sånt i Sverige och använder lastväxlare och alla de här grejerna. So, as she was just asking what I got on my head, I told her it's for a trucking blog. So, as you can see, this thing's got a manual crank. Guess I might as well put my gloves on. So you gotta raise it up a little first, then you do that shit. Then you lower it down. Now closing them, as long as there's no physical obstruction, is easy. There's not much pressure. As you can see, there's no effort. You know. However, when you're gonna open them, it's a different story. That could be a little tough sometimes. Oh, there is a physical obstruction. The 4-wheeler, they can probably just push the roof down. 321 hjullastare kom. Hjullastare kom.
Ja.
Kan ni komma och mosa taket lite här? Jag vill inte riktigt stänga på skrotbingen.
Ja.
Okej. Yeah, just called on the four-wheeler. He's gonna come here and try to mash it. I think it's just enough for you to mash the roof a little. Vadå? Jag tror jag behöver mosa den lite till på insidan där. Sen den stannade lite där. Men sen den andra bingen, det är något konstigt med den veven. Den vill inte släppa åt andra hållet, den bara sitter fast. Det går bara att veva åt ett håll, sen den fastnar på den andra. Det har jag inte gjort innan. Okej. Semi-2 for up here. Yeah, that's looking good. You see, it's close enough. It's not higher than that thing over there, and these are closed good too. As far as that goes, it's a little high, but you can see that thing isn't much higher than that thing. It's about the same. So if that doesn't smash, that won't smash. That's a good reference for you. And it shouldn't be much on the, maybe a few inches above tops, you know. Anyway, it's time to pull out these containers. Yep, that's why nobody wants this load. Just nothing complicated, just a whole lot of hassle. Unfortunately, the place I'm going to dump it at is not one of our own places, so I can't film there. I don't have permission. Work a little. I got to, what do you call it? On the little bit. They give you a little bit of the job training, I guess you call it. But except it's not paid. But it's part of the trucking school anyway. Just so you get to go out there and feel a little bit how it's to work like a truck driver. Well, anyway, this truck driver I was riding along with, he's been working for 40 years. He told me a good truck driver is a lazy truck driver. I sort of understood what he meant at the time, but I didn't exactly get it. But now that I've been trucking for a little while, I understand exactly what he means. He doesn't mean like literally lazy. He just means it means you should do things as efficiently as possible. You know, don't complicate things. You know. So it basically means work smart. If you do things smart, then you get more done with less effort. So that's what he means by a good truck driver is a lazy truck driver. It means don't create extra hassle. It's not about literally being lazy. So anyway, that's something to keep in mind when you go out there and start trucking. as you get more experienced, you'll learn how to do things more efficiently. Whether you're driving pallets or you're driving a hook lift truck like this, you'll learn what's the smartest way to do things. You'll build your own good routine, and that's going to help make you a good truck driver. Because a lot of things you save time on is like being able to load and unload quickly, doing that in an efficient way. Because the truck can only go so fast. Doesn't matter who's sitting behind the wheel. Yeah, one person can drive maybe a little faster than the other, but it'll only go so fast. But the person who knows how to load really efficiently versus the person who doesn't, that's going to make a big difference. That person who knows how to load efficiently is going to get the job done a lot quicker. Hello everybody. I decided to film a little later than I had thought I was going to film, because I thought I would film when I dumped the last load, because I had like 2 loads after the break. But so the first load I just dumped it. I was like, okay, I just got it over with. And I thought, okay, on the last load I could dump it. But the thing was, after I got the last load, it got pretty late. So I decided I would film now instead and tell you guys what happened. So after I got the last load, I just checked it, and I was on my way. I made sure nothing was hanging off the truck and all that. But sure enough, something was actually hanging off the truck. As I was driving down on the highway, this guy that was sitting in a tow truck, he signaled for me to stop. I was like, what? I thought something really serious was going on with a trailer or something. I was like, what? I didn't understand what was wrong. So he told me to stop, and he pulled ahead of me, and he stopped, and I stopped behind him. And then I asked, it's like, what is it? And he's like, you got something hanging off your trailer. So I went and looked in the back, and he said it's like some hose or something. So I went and looked, and it was, sure enough, there was like this big hose that had gotten stuck under the trailer on the right side, or trailer under it. So I pulled all that out, and I threw it at the side of the road, and that was it. So he just said like bye, and I was glad that he helped me. The lesson to be learned here is always make sure after you get loaded, if you get loaded on one of these hauls, like the way we do at Högsbo, there's that second place at Högsbo where you get loaded. It's like a haul. You go in there and they just load you up, and then you gotta go. Always walk a lap around the truck. For the last week and a half, I've always done that before, but for the last week and a half, I stopped doing that. I check on the side of the truck, and I'm like, okay, if it looks good, then I go. But I'm gonna go back to that, because if I had done that, I would have seen. If I had done it the way I used to do it, up until like a week and a half ago, then I would have seen what was wrong, and I could have just pulled that hose off. Because that hose that was hanging off of there, now luckily nothing happened, but that could have potentially caused an accident, maybe even a very serious accident. Because the thing is, if that hose would have released while I was driving, it would have flown right out in the traffic. Maybe somebody tries to get out of the way, and then they hit another car, and you understand what could happen from that. So that could end really badly. So the moral of the story here is always make sure that you don't have a bunch of shit hanging off your truck. You know, if you're driving one of these hook lift trucks and you get loaded with garbage and all that, walk a lap around. After you get loaded with like if they load you on one of these hauls, so you don't, so then make sure you know that there's nothing hanging off of your truck. It's different when you're loading one container at a time. Then you could easily just see like what's if something's hanging off of the truck or not. Anyway, that's what I gotta say about that.